As a child, we've all heard the stories of Hansel and Gretel and the terrifying story of the big bad wolf. From those stories, the human mind has come up with myths concerning man becoming beast, man turning into wolves, and devouring their victims. While we know these to be fairy tales, the real wolf is another story. Please like, share, and subscribe to Where in the World is Frank and Gina. Just type Frank and Gina to get to our channel. The wolf, or Canis lupus, also known as the gray wolf, is a large canine native to Eurasia and North America. The wolf is the largest extant member of the Canidae family. The wolf is mainly a carnivore and feeds on large wild-hoofed mammals as well as smaller animals, livestock, carrion, and garbage. Wolves are very social animals. They're extremely smart, and their endurance is amazing. When hunting in a pack, wolves can chase an animal down until it simply just gets tired and stops before they devour it. Attacks on humans are rare because wolves are relatively few, live away from people, and have developed a fear of humans because of their experiences. However, sometimes these things change. The wolf that we're going to talk about today is the gray wolf, which can reach an astonishing 36 inches and weigh up to 175 pounds. Today's story centers around Finland. In the early 1800s, there were two wolves that stalked, killed, and ate 22 children, all within a year span, making it the worst wolf attack in recorded history. Here's the story. Turku is a city in Finland and is the regional capital of southwest Finland. It is located on the southwestern coast. In the 1800s, people lived in the remote areas which weren't as populated and were full of wolves. The first incident happened in January of 1881. Two boys were relaxing in an outdoor sauna on their family farm when they noticed a lone wolf stalking them from across the way. Eventually, the wolf gained ground and attacked one of the boys, dragging him off into the woods while the other ran to grab his parents. Meanwhile, the boy's mother had organized a posse. They went out looking for the young man. As they searched and found a blood trail, they eventually found his right leg torn from his body. As the rescue party desperately searched for the young man's body, they didn't find any. They only found his bloody clothing about 500 yards from the initial incident. It was clear he had been consumed. Later, authorities organized posses to go out and try and hunt the wolves. However, the wolves were very clever. After attacking certain livestock, they avoided the attacks and continued their bloody pursuit. About 3 months later, 2-year-old Johanna was playing outside of her family farm. Her mother, who was just inside the home, heard her daughter scream out in agonizing pain and ran outside to see what was wrong. Upon arriving outside, the scene was horrific. She saw her daughter's foot, but Johanna and the rest of her body was gone. She only found wolf tracks and a blood trail. 3 days later, on April 25th, while the memorial service was being held for her, 3 siblings were walking home, while 2 of the girls were playing and left their 7-year-old sister behind. What happened next is nothing short of horrific. Just before the girls reached the clearing, 7-year-old Maria Matilda was grabbed by a wolf and drug off as the other girls ran off screaming for their parents. The wolf dashed off into the woods with her body. As the adults were notified and a search team was organized, nothing was found other than her shoe and parts of her dress. The wolves had completely consumed her just like the other 3. At this point, within 3 months, 3 children have died. Fear has spread through the region. Everyone is terrified. The very next day, and just a few miles down the road, 2.5-year-old Maria Helen went to grab some water from a spring near her home. After some time passes, her parents went looking for her out of worry. and they were horrified to find the bucket next to a pool of blood. And although, just like the rest, search parties were organized, nobody was ever found. This young lady was consumed by the wolf. At this point, authorities were fed up and issued ordinances allowing residents to kill as many wolves as they'd like. At this point, authorities were enthusiastic that they would eradicate the problem. Boy, were they wrong. And on May 25th, things took a turn for the worse. The Lafala kids were playing outside when the unthinkable happened, as two of the young ladies described what they saw as a large dog. One of the young ladies didn't see it, and it grabbed her and immediately drug her off into the woods and started feeding. A search party was organized yet again, and nothing was found of the little girl until they stumbled upon her intestines and a foot still in a shoe. At this point, outrage ensued that the government needs to do something, and they authorized even more killings of wolves. And for some time it helped. That is, until Halloween night of the same year. Things were about to start back up again, and not in a good way. Later that evening, 6-year-old Christina Johansson was returning from Halloween and trick-or-treating. As she walked through her door, her mother looked at her, and immediately from behind, a wolf grabbed her, snatching her back outside. The mother gave chase, but later stated she lost sight of the wolf with her daughter as it was too fast. As Christina's motherly instincts kicked in, she continued the chase, eventually finding the wolf with pups while feeding on her daughter. Just a week later, 5-year-old Carl Grunros was playing with a friend. They both were stalked and eventually attacked by a wolf. The friend managed to get away and scurry under a tree, but Carl wasn't so lucky. The wolf eventually caught up to him, grabbed him, drug him off into a trench, and started eating him. At this point, embarrassed, the government brought in professional hunters. As the searches continued throughout the month of December, finally, on January 2nd, 1882, a lone female wolf was caught and killed. Upon doing a necropsy, her teeth were found to be broken off, hindering her from hunting her normal prey. Just 2 weeks later, her suspected partner was also killed. The old male suffered the same fate as the female, broken teeth, hindering both of them from hunting their normal prey and turning them into man-eaters. It's important to note that the gray wolf does not normally stalk human beings. In fact, it usually avoids us. It's these types of situations where humans place themselves in harm's way that these types of things happen. In my opinion, these children should have never been left alone. These two wolves managed to kill 22 children. They killed and ate them before they were brought down. By 1976, all wolves in the area had been eradicated, except for a few that were kept in captivity. In closing, the wolf is several times stronger than the average dog, as you can see here. And even the strongest of human beings couldn't match up with one gray wolf on their own, or we'd stand the chance of being drug off, just like this dog. Please like, share, and subscribe to Where in the World is Frank and Gina on YouTube. Just type Frank and Gina to get to our channel. Rest in peace to the victims. God bless. Take care.